In this presentation, we're going to spend a few minutes talking about some of the tools that MotionBuilder has that will help you if you're doing virtual production and you're on set. The first tool that we're going to mention is line timecode in. MotionBuilder can reference in external timecode that's being fed. In this example, I'm actually just tying it to the system class because I don't have a device hooked up. But essentially, the line timecode is accessible via a custom attribute, so you can tag that information onto your objects in your scene and then track them throughout your pipeline. The next tool that we're going to bring up and look at is the ability to record video per take. We can actually record video and audio per take. So I've got a Microsoft webcam hooked up. I can choose from a variety of resolutions and frame rates. It's worth mentioning that you're recording in MotionBuilder. We can record multiple frame rates at the same time. So we may record our video at 24 frames per second and do our motion capture at 60 frames per second. That time code would basically be tied to both of those objects, and it would be able then easily to sync throughout your pipeline. So let's go ahead and just drop a video source in our scene so that we can visualize it here. We'll bring it online again. So there I am. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just do a simple take. Now imagine if you were doing performance animation and you were able to record the movement, included the video with the bone information to have at your disposal when you're working in MotionBuilder. That's really the idea behind this feature. So we'll just go online. We'll tell it to overwrite the existing take, and we'll just play this back. So now we're recording the time code for this take. Obviously this isn't performance animation, but you get the idea. Imagine if this was a video source of some motion capture happening. So now we can take this offline, and if we scrub through our time slider, you can see there's the video that's been recorded in time code with the actual movement of the animation. So it's a really cool feature inside of MotionBuilder, especially if you're on set, to be able to kind of have the reference information directly embedded into the take that you just did. So the next set of tools that we want to look at are things that will help you maintain a minimum frame rate or increase your frame rate. So if you're on set and you're doing performance animation, you want to make sure that you never drop below a certain threshold. So MotionBuilder has some tools to help you evaluate that, and different options that we can use to start to turn on and off certain aspects of the application to help you get different frame rates. We have a point cache manager now. So this allows you to take secondary characters in your scene that maybe aren't being live captured, shove them into point caches, and you'll get faster evaluations and frame rates that way. We also have the ability to profile what's going on in our system, so we can see exactly where we're spending our time. So let's just increase this window a little bit so we can actually see that profiler. So you can see that we're basically hitting right around 30 frames a second right here. If we start to play back our animation, you can see that the render time starts to kick up a little bit. And what we want to do is we'll just loop this and play it back again. What we want to do is look at a few of the other options that we can use to start to increase our performance. So this is just an evaluation tool. We can set the evaluation depth. So if I increase that number, I start to see more information about, like, if I had a bunch of HIK rigs in there, my constraint evaluation would go up. So really the idea behind the profiling tool is to give you a mechanism to really see where your scene's slowing down so that you can make decisions to get that frame rate back up to the bare minimum that you need to do your performance take. So let's go ahead and look at something that really taxes the system to get this frame rate to drop down. Let's turn on a group that I've already got in my scene with this spaceship that's in the background there. As soon as I turn that on, you can see that frame rate dropped down. It went back up, but it dropped down there for a second. And what I want to do, this is a really heavy model. It's got like 1 million polygons in it. I want to go ahead and add a asset or a shader onto this. It's kind of slow to draw if it's got a very high poly count. So what we'll do is we'll go and we'll grab a toon shader that's going to have to draw a line on every single edge, and we'll just drag and drop that onto that guy, and we'll tell it to append. And as soon as I do that, you'll see that my frame rate's going to get walloped by that toon shader. So as soon as it kind of comes back here, let's actually double click on that so that evaluation tool comes back up. So you can see that I've gone way down in my frame rate. So if I turn on Frustum Culling, what this will do is it'll basically drop that chip out of my evaluation once it's no longer in my camera, and my frame rate will go right back up to where it was. So there's lots of different things that we can play around with, whether or not we're using GPU skinning or whether we're not using Frustum Culling, to go ahead and start to increase the performance and again try to meet that bare threshold or minimum, that bare minimum that you need to be successful when you're on set. So those are just a few of the tools that MotionBuilder has specifically to aid you if you are on set and you're trying to do virtual production.